How's it going, folks? Welcome back. So we are testing Doom The Dark Ages with my 7900 XTX, and I wanted to test it with this AMD card because, of course, this game has mandatory ray tracing, and it's kind of no secret that AMD isn't the greatest when it comes to ray tracing, particularly with the 7000 series. So we're running at 4K. I've turned off vertical sync and I've turned off the resolution scaling mode, and I've got everything else on the Ultra Nightmare setting. It says custom because I changed the vertical sync and a few things up above. But yeah, Ultra Nightmare, 4K, no mucking around. Let's see what we get. Alright, this is the very start of the game. I have not played any of this at all, so you're seeing this for the first time with me. Oh my goodness gracious. And we're not doing so well, are we, on the frames? We are getting 50 frames a second, 4K Ultra Nightmare. Damn, yeah, this isn't going to be playable, is it? We are running TAA, though, I believe. So let's turn that on, because an average of 47, and we're not even really in the middle of a fight yet. It's not going to do it for us. Well, that does look good, though, doesn't it? Flipping heck. Okay, we've turned on FSR. We'll try it on the balance preset. I'm going to leave off frame generation because I don't really like frame generation. They are kind of just fake frames. They don't really add to the sensitivity of a first-person shooter. It just appears smoother, but it won't feel smoother, if that makes sense. So, let's see what we get. Hey, that's more like it, isn't it? Okay, 80 FPS. This is pretty good. Ultra Nightmare 4K with a bit of FSR. I was concerned that this AMD card wasn't going to be quite up to it, but doesn't seem to be an issue. Obviously, my shooting is completely unrivaled. Goodness gracious, what a cool game. I like the locking on you can do with the shield. That is awesome. Bang! Yeah, let's go. Is that all of them? That must be all of them. Yeah, clean house. That's pretty good, though. That was a good test, because that was quite a lot of enemies on screen there, and we seem to keep up at around 80 FPS, which I know isn't a load. I've got to be honest, for 4K, kind of impressed. I wasn't expecting the 7900 XTX to be completely amazing at this game, given that it's so heavily ray tracing focused, and you kind of think, well, that's going to be Nvidia's wheelhouse. But chucking a bit of FSR, we're getting a good experience here. I like it. I like it a lot. So about 85 is what we've averaged so far, getting about 95 right now. Let's switch to 1440p, see what we get if we go a bit lower. Alright, here we go into another fight. This time we are at 1440p native, and it looks like our kind of frames per second is roughly similar to what we were getting at 4K with FSR in balance. So that's kind of cool. If you've got a 1440p high refresh screen, I mean, I know we're not looking at super high refresh rates, but it should feel pretty good on like a 144Hz monitor. And again, this is Ultra Nightmare. Although looking at other videos prior to the game launching, it seems like a load of the settings, the presets, they all kind of give roughly the same performance unless you go all the way to low. Turns out this is a very hard game to benchmark and play at the same time. It kind of consumes me. It's very difficult to make conversation about what's going on, make commentary and thoughtful analysis. Not that my videos particularly offer much thoughtful analysis, but you get what I'm trying to say. I just feel consumed by the battle that I'm in right now, but we kind of need to be in the battles to stress the game out. But 86 FPS, 1440p, Ultra Nightmare. Oh no, I've got no ammo. Oh no! Alright, so we've sort of concluded that we are roughly in the same neighbourhood in 1440p native as we were with 4K with FSR in balance mode, or obviously 4K on without any FSR. It was not good. But I think kind of credit where credit's due to the 7900 XTX, given that this is like mandatory ray tracing, or so we're told. Not bad. It's kind of holding its own. Okay, so we've switched on FSR now. We're still in 1440p Ultra Nightmare, but we've turned on FSR into balance mode, and we are seeing now what I would call to be, a high refresh rate experience. This is more like it, in my opinion. Yes! Later, loser. I'm too good at Doom. That's my trouble. It's always been my trouble. I've always been too good at things. Yeah, this isn't bad. Obviously, we're imbalanced. So I'm just wondering how much we would lose if we were to drop, or rather go up to quality. Right, FSR is now in quality rather than balance, and we have lost a bit, but I would say that is totally fine. What are we in? We're getting like 130, averaging 127. Look at those 1% lows and 0.1% lows. They're really nice and healthy as well. So if you're on a 7900 XT slash XTX slash 7800 XT, I would say, 1440p is probably going to be your sweet spot, I would have thought. Now, I have heard that dropping down the graphics settings doesn't really do a lot. So let's just kill the averages a moment. Okay, so 132, 133 FPS as we stand here right now. What happens if we drop the graphics preset? So we were on Ultra Nightmare, albeit it's saying custom because we turned off the dynamic resolution. Let's go to... because I've heard that there's not a lot of difference basically until you go to low. Let's just go to high. Let's skip over Nightmare and Ultra. Let's go straight to high. Yeah, that's kind of in line. I mean, we've gained what? 2, 3, maybe 4 FPS. And we've gone down, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4 preset quality levels. So I would probably on that basis remain at Ultra Nightmare just because. I mean, visually it also equally can't tell a huge amount of difference. Still looks pretty flipping good, doesn't it? But yeah, this is a weird game for that reason. I kind of heard rumblings that, unless you go to low, all the other settings are basically the same, which is really weird to me. But also visually, it's almost like unless you go to low, they're all roughly the same anyway. And even when you look at compare low to Ultra Nightmare, not a huge amount in it. Not really. You've got to look. You've actually got to look. So that being the case, let's switch down to 1080p and let's see how far the 7900 XTX can stretch its legs. All right, let's try 1080p. We've got resolution scaling mode off, and we've got TAA enabled, so we're going to leave FSR off for now, and we've gone back to Ultra Nightmare, albeit it says custom because I turned off a couple of things with the resolution scaling, etc. So let's jump back in, see what this game can do. All right, so what was it we saw? 4K with FSR upscaling set to balanced was roughly the same as 1440p native, and now we're seeing 1080p native is not a million miles away from 1440p with FSR upscaling. So we're getting 1080p native, Ultra Nightmare settings, 120, 130 FPS depending on where we jump around the place. GPU's pegged at 99% as you can see, which is good. My CPU, I don't think I mentioned it so far in this video, is a 5800X 3D, and we're running 64 gigs DDR4. 3600 CL, 18 memory. I almost said 16 then. I did have a 16 set. Now I've gone back to 18 because reasons. So, if you're on a high refresh rate 1080p display and you just want native 1080p, you can probably get close to maxing it out if you've got like a 144 Hz panel. So that's a pretty good result. The question next for me then is, do we want to use FSR? Ideally at 1080p, my answer would be no, just because I feel like the base resolution is going to be quite low and it's not going to be the greatest, but for the science, we'll do it. All right, FSR quality has been enabled. We're now seeing, rather than 120, 125, we're sort of 155, 160. So we are getting another sort of 30-ish FPS, which can't be sniffed at. This is quality. I mean, ideally, I wouldn't want to go much lower than quality, given that we're at 1080p. But again, let's just see what balance can get us. I'm curious to see if we can maybe introduce a CPU limit and kind of see what that's going to be if you're on a 5800X3D or similar CPU. So let's go to balance. Let's see if we can start to introduce a CPU bottleneck, see where it kind of caps out. All right, so yeah, about 180 now that we've gone to balanced. So we are still getting more frames the lower we go with the FSR settings. So we've gone from quality to balanced. GPU still pegged at 99%. So let's go to performance. 183 FPS, GPU usage now at 98%. So that does make me wonder if we're sort of getting close to what's going to be a CPU limit. 97%. I think if we were to go to ultra performance, that'd give us our answer. Let's do it. Yeah, still at 180-ish FPS, and you notice the GPU usage now is starting to come down into like the high 90s. Still pretty high though, considering the absolute mess we've got on our screen. It looks absolutely hideous. Don't do this. Don't run the game like this, for goodness sake. But yeah, I think probably with a 5800X 3D, about 180 FPS is maybe 190. I mean, there's no enemies on screen at the moment as well. If we were to go into a fight, I bet if we get loads of people on the screen, the CPU is going to get more of a workout. So there you have it, folks. It would seem that about 180 FPS with a 5800X 3D is all you're going to get in Doom The Dark Ages, but that's fine by me. That's more than enough. I think realistically, I'm going to be playing this at 1440p on my Dell 165Hz gaming monitor. So probably I'm going to go with... I don't know, I might try and play 1440p native, see how I get on. If I really need to, I'll use FSR. I'd prefer not to if I can get away with it. Not really my preferred option, but right now we've cowered to safety in here. Oh my goodness, there's more of them. What is going on? This game is wild. I hope you all have fun playing this anyway. Let me know in the comments what you're going to be playing on, what settings you're likely going to be using. But I think given that the Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, blah, 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 all seems so flipping similar, we might as well just go to Ultra Nightmare. And yeah, it then becomes a question of resolution and whether you want to use any kind of upscaling technologies. Obviously, with the 7900 XCX, we are limited to FSR. Sadly, DLSS is not on the cards. That would again be my preferred option, particularly with DLSS 4. Anyway, leave a comment, let me know what you're going to be running on, let us know how you're getting on, and of course, get subbed if you're not already to the channel. And until next time, you'll take the very best care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.